Hello everyone and welcome back. So this week we're doing the top 5 tips for painting hats. So number 1 probably goes without saying, but you're going to need a hat. It doesn't matter what kind of hat, you can use any of them. Even the sun hats that are kind of like rattan. I'm not 100% sure what they're actually made of. I would say rattan. Could be wrong, but you can even use those to paint on. So any kind of hat you want, just pick one. It doesn't matter, and always you're going to be practicing anyway, so don't worry about what the hat is straight away. I tend to find that the smoother the surface is probably the easiest to paint on, but it is completely up to you guys. So number 2. Now, I don't know if anyone would have thought of this, but a lint roller. These things are brilliant. Always give your hat a nice clean. So I would usually steam my hat or iron the brim of it first. I kind of do that without saying anyway, but a lint roller is really good because you can get off all the loose fibers, which makes it a lot easier, because the last thing you want is painting on to a hat and you're lifting all these little stringy bits of fibers, which actually happens quite often when you've burned a hat. It can be quite stringy afterwards and the paint gets caught on it and then you find there's a little dotted line. So lint roller, number 2, great use. Number 3, so paint brushes. Now you're gonna be mixing your paint with a larger brush, but when it comes to painting, I like to paint with really little thin brushes. So I've got these. These are, it says 0, they were bought in Hobbycraft, and it's code A, and it's AF85. And that is, all 3 of these are, because I use these ones a lot. So every time I nip into the closest city where there's a Hobbycraft, I pick up a few more brushes because you do go through them quite quickly. And the other tip for painting or brushes is nail brushes. Now, one of you lovely viewers, if you're watching this, make sure to leave a comment down below, said to me, why don't you use nail brushes? Because they've got such thin tips. Really, really thin tips. And I was like, you know what? That's a brilliant idea. So I did. I went out and I got it, and it lets me do teeny tiny fine detail, which is great. Like this one, I've actually done in smaller detail, and it works brilliantly. Okay, now the one that you're all waiting for. I know you are, because you guys ask me this all the time. What kind of paint do you use? Now, I have a whole box. There's actually more over there. These are PBO paints. So, it looks orange on screen, but it's red. PBO. And they're just fabric paints, and they're super easy to use, really easy to use. And yes, you can mix them if you want. I quite often mix mine to get the perfect color, because nobody wants to lemon yellow something or a too orangey yellow, so I like to mix and match. That is the paints I use. I don't know what else to tell you about the paints. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. Or, well, if you think you've missed something out, or if you've got any handy tips that you think somebody else would like to hear, then also leave that in the comments below. Now the last one, because I know you're going to go, but you didn't tell me, how do I seal the paint? With this bad boy. Just with an iron. So I can't find I use a bit of cotton. So something as simple as like a light white or cream pillowcase. Easy peasy, you find them super cheap. And all you do is lay the pillowcase, once you've left your hat to dry. I leave mine for 24 hours, just to be safe. But once you've left your hat to dry, lay the cloth over the top and then use the iron without steam. And I can't remember how many minutes it is. It does say on here, and the writing is so small, I'd have to take a photo of it and zoom in. But it's however many seconds or a couple of minutes, something like that, to seal the paint in. And then that's it. You don't have to worry about it running. Now, I wouldn't advise going out in the absolute lashing rain, because that's obviously going to make your hat warp and stuff and go out of shape. and eventually it is going to ruin the paint, especially if you've got a lot of paint on there, like the sunflower hat, like this one. It's got a large surface of paint. Not so much with the ones that are like just a little bit of like lines, but it is sealed and it's not going to come off, and it shouldn't matter about it being in the sun or a sprinkle of rain, but I wouldn't advise going out in the absolute lashing rain. I mean, I don't think you'd want to go out in the lashing rain anyway wearing a big hat. You'd want an umbrella, because I would. Okay, so if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If I can't get back to you with a decent answer, then somebody else will, because everybody likes to help. And that's it for this week. So if you would like to subscribe, please do so. If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm not forcing you to. And also make sure you give this a thumbs up, because it helps this video and this channel grow even more. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much for coming and hanging out, and I will see you next week.